Hello, my educator family. Welcome to another Strategy Sunday, right here with Carla Boswell-Lewis, Director for Strategic Educational Consultancy Services. Welcome to another in the series for the month of Adaptable August. Adaptable indeed, because our focus is on school leaders, those who would have led out during the pandemic, what it was like for them, their experiences, and what is it that they'll be sharing with us as we move into the new school year 2021-2022. We have heard so far from our Jamaicans right here at home. Omar Largi, the Vice Principal of Penwood High School in Kingston, Mrs. Anse Michael Jones, the Principal of Mispa Primary. And so this week we have an international experience to share with you, educational leaders and teachers. We have with us Mrs. Kryshna Hylton, who is the former principal of the Riverside Christian School in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Yes, I got that right, Saskatchewan. And she's here to share with us her experiences as the principal leading the school, what it was like for her. Let's have her.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to our session. Today, we'll be talking about COVID-19 in our schools. I'm just going to be sharing a little bit about what the experience was like for me at our school for this past school year and some of the things that you can do in preparation for the new school year that's just a couple weeks away. So COVID-19 came as a surprise to everyone. No one expected COVID-19 in our schools. As a matter of fact, it created a little bit of havoc for our school system. For some individuals, school had to be closed and online learning took place. For others, it was face-to-face for the entire school year, despite the challenges around. At our school, Riverside Christian School, we were blessed, can I say, to enjoy face-to-face learning for the entire school year, but there were a lot of things that we had to do, so many changes we had to make with regards to leadership, lots of decisions, lots of supervision, lots of changes, trying our best to keep the children safe, changing protocols. So I'll just go over a little bit of what we had to do for the school year that just passed and what you can do to help you in your new schools for the new school year ahead. So many of our students worldwide suffered academically because of COVID-19. Many individuals also had mental and emotional challenges because of the pandemic. As a principal for the Riverside Christian School for the 2020-2021 school year, I can honestly say that we had to spend a lot of time revising our plans for September. We had to do a lot of shopping and coordinating, and the PPE, that's the personal protective equipment, wasn't always available for everybody to use. But thank the Lord, we were able to do our shopping early. We got a bit of donations from different government entities, and our parents helped out quite a bit by donating masks for our students throughout the year. Throughout the school year, we were required to keep the Ministry of Education up to date with our COVID cases if we had any. And as I said before, we didn't have any, but that was just a requirement from the ministry. We had to connect with local officials on a regular basis just to make sure that we were maintaining physical distancing and following the different protocols that were in place. We had to create a back-to-school COVID reopening plan just to give the ministry some guidelines as to what we were projecting for the new school year. And wearing masks became the norm of the day. Our students, our parents, everybody had to be masked. It was kind of different at first, but over time, we got used to the routine. Cleaning and sanitation, we had to step up a bit on that to make sure that all the frequently touched surfaces were properly sanitized. Visitors to our school were minimized this year. Only maintenance crew members were able to pop in if they were needed for any little challenge that arose. But our usual guest presenters weren't able to pop in due to the restrictions of the pandemic. So we had to place protocol, reminding students of guidelines. We had to put those protocols to be observed on the walls, reminding students physical distance, wear your mask, sanitize your hands at all times. And we had to remind a couple of children, especially the younger ones, to always remember to wash their hands when they go to the washroom. And if we thought they forgot, as teachers would send them with the UE back to the washroom to make sure that they were nice and clean. Our teachers tried their best to use manipulatives and resources in the classroom that could be easily sanitized, right? So that you didn't want to have to be using things that were cloth-based for example, is cushions, classrooms with cushions, and then we had to take those out and use items that we could just spray and wipe and not have to worry about getting them too wet. We kept our students in bubbles also, just to keep them safe. We encouraged them also not to go out and mingle with those who are not in their bubble or their family units, because we wanted to keep our school family safe. So anybody who came to school, we have to check if they had any COVID symptoms. A lot of our parents tried to keep their children at home if they were experiencing any symptoms from COVID. Now, it was quite a school year, I can honestly say. It was really different, but the Lord was good to us, as I said. And I'm just going to share a couple of our tips with you, just so that you can, bear these things in mind for your new school year. So as I begin this PowerPoint, I just want to give a little credit, shout out to my daughter Dana, who did the actual slideshow. She was pretty amazing in taking care of that for us. So first of all, I can say you never begin your day without God. You have to pray for wisdom. Each situation that will arise every day requires wisdom from God. How to deal with your students, how to manage the stresses that you have ahead. You always pray for wisdom. Next up, I would say to you, keep items in your classroom sanitized. Have a bottle of Lysol or bleach and water mixed down. Pop yourself around the classroom every now and again, spray a little, wipe a little. It's always good to keep the classroom sanitized. High traffic areas in your school need to be cleaned regularly. And as I said before, bleach, Lysol, quick spray, you're good to go. The germs will fly away. All right, so always have those handy in the event that you need it. Place sanitizing stations throughout the school and the classroom. So, kids are on the move. They're always doing something. If they know they can just run across to the gym or by the door in your classroom to just get a squirt, or on your desk to get a squirt of sanitizer to keep their hands nice and clean, encourage them to do so. And of course, I'd say to you, soap and water is always best. So if you have that handy, make good use of that. And I can tell you, after a while, the sanitizer does tend to dry out your hands. So a little lotion will also help to get some of that alcoholic smell off your hand. Scheduling hand washing and sanitizing. So throughout the day, say, okay, class, it's time for us to get clean again. Just send them to wash their hands. Give a little squirt of sanitizer. That helps a lot. Remind students to physical distance, right? Social distancing is important, and also respecting each other's personal space. No matter where you are, from now on till God comes, if I can say it that way, you're always going to have to respect each other's personal space. Take that extra effort to respect it because of COVID-19, because you don't want to have to worry about transmitting the virus. Meeting with parents, a good way to do it over Zoom, over the telephone if you have to. The in-person discussions may not be that great for the new school year coming up. I know a lot of individuals have been vaccinated, but cases are still rising around. If you can avoid that face-to-face contact with parents, but the phone or Zoom really work well, so you can always check that out as options too. Mask wearing is important. Encourage the students to wear their masks. These may change in some institutions, but I prefer to be safe than sorry. I intend to wear my mask for the new year ahead, just to keep my family and students safe. Now, ensure your classroom is properly ventilated. I can say fresh air is the best. So if you need to open up some windows, just get the fresh air in so that nobody can get sick. Get vaccinated. I know there's a lot of disputes over whether or not you should be vaccinated, but it gives you that extra boost in your system to fight against the virus, and it'll help your students to be a little more comfortable, and yourself to be a little more comfortable in the classroom situation if you actually are vaccinated. Now, our students need support. So provide support for your students and also members of staff. Remember that there are other teachers who are being stressed because of this pandemic. They have challenges at home, challenges at school, challenges on the road. So just be that sense of support for your colleagues who may be stressed. Students have relatives who have passed from this virus also. So you need to take that extra time to give them the support that they need. Show a little compassion, a little love, because that's what's the best thing for them to take them through this trying time. Encourage your students to make wise choices. I know we have curfews in some areas. I know there are lockdowns in some areas, but encourage them to make wise choices, not to go hang out with friends and, sports. Just go to school, go home. keep your little group small so that, you don't have to worry too much about spreading this virus, because nobody really wants to catch it. Plan ahead. Now, we may start school in person, depending on the cases, as well as we may start school online. You never know. We all, as teachers, would like to begin school in our classrooms. So in the event that you do begin in your classroom, plan ahead. What could happen just in case we have to go online, right? Do that extra work that needs to be done to make it easy for you to transition to the online platform, but you have to provide the support for your students. So plan ahead, just in case. Engage your students in learning and make learning an interesting and fun experience again. There are many students this year who got tired of school, who didn't want to go to school, don't even want to begin school in September. But if you can take up the challenge to make your classroom interesting, your lessons interesting, and fun again, learning can be really awesome, because that is what you want your students to do. You want them to enjoy learning. Motivate your students to do their best. Motivate your students to shine. It doesn't matter if you're in person, if you're online, motivate them to do their best no matter the circumstance, because it is really important for them to strive despite the pandemic. We have no idea how long it's going to be here for, so let's make the best of the situation. Strive for excellence, because that is our ultimate goal. And last but not least, I just want to remind you that you are amazing and you are special, and that if you trust in the Lord for this upcoming school year, He can give you the wisdom that you need to make this new school year a blessing and to make it awesome for both yourself and your students. So with these words, I just want to thank you for tuning in and wish you all the best for the new school year that's just ahead. May the Lord continue to strengthen and grant you wisdom as you begin this new school year ahead. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I hope we can connect again soon.
Educators, I truly want to say to Mrs. Hylton, thank you so much for coming to our platform and sharing with us your experiences as you led Riverside Christian School. Indeed, we know that within the pandemic, we have to rely on God. We have to rely on His strength to help us as we lead. We have to call upon Him. And so should have given to us her experiences with the students, parents, staff, stakeholders. And she has shared with us going forward, what is it that we need to do? Educators, remember that as we go forward, we have been through a year of pandemic in school. And so our past must serve as a guide to our future. Let us not make the same mistakes we made last year, school year, but let us plan wholeheartedly that as we go forward, the children, the business of teaching and learning will continue, and that we will rise to the occasion to help our students, to help our stakeholders, to help our parents to take charge and to make the best of what we have to offer in the teaching learning environment. Thank you so much as always for tuning in. I thank you for watching the videos, for liking, for subscribing, for commenting. Please go ahead and share your experiences in the chat below. What was it like for you as a teacher, as an administrator during the pandemic, and what are your plans as you go forward? I want to say to you, educators, that as you enjoy the holiday break that we really need, let us also be reflective, and let us also plan ahead. Start to thinking what it will be like for us when we start the new school year. Thank you so much, and I look forward to having you watching again with us Thursday with Tori Carty as we do the analysis for this week's episode. Thank you, walk good, and all the best.